Ladies and gentlemen, this is Paula G, and you are listening to Late Night with Jerry Royce live at Positive Power 21. Can you feel the power? Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Much love to V. Ferg for the Paula G Show opening theme music, Slow Earth. And V. Ferg's music can be found on iTunes, Amazon, and SoundCloud. I'm glad you all have joined me this evening for another episode. I hope you've had a great week. I've had a fabulous week this week. And, you know, the summer's coming. The weather's getting a little warmer now. It's, the first week of May? So, you know, the winter, I think, is behind us. I hope it's behind us. I think the winter months are behind us. So we're going to be moving forward. I know a lot of you will be taking vacation and doing some fun things in the spring and summer. So lots to look forward to. Thank you so much, my live listeners. I know that you all are here with me Wednesday evening, 8:30 p.m. live right here on Survival Radio Network. Thank you so much for joining me. My podcast listeners, you all listen throughout the day as you're going about your daily activities, or maybe you're at work listening. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you. Those of you right here in the ATL, throughout Georgia, and throughout the U.S. of A., thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate that. My military families, it's all about you this month. Thank you all so much for listening, both here and abroad. Appreciate you all. Appreciate all that you do, and we just continue to pray for your safety and your safe return home. My truck drivers, you all are out there on the highways and byways and listening to the Paula G Show as you're rolling down the road, so I appreciate you all as well. And those of you who are listening from around the world, whether you're listening live or in podcast, those of you who are listening live, it might be 1:30, 2:30, 3:30 in the morning. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Time is precious. I say this all the time. Time is precious. It's the one thing that you cannot get back. So I appreciate it, not robbery, to spend some time with me on Wednesday evenings right here on the G Show. As always, much love and a big shout-out to my engineer, Mr. Mike Barnes. Mike has been taking care of me for a minute, so I appreciate him each and every Wednesday. There's nothing, absolutely nothing like a dynamic engineer, and I have one. So I appreciate you, Mike. Thank you, love. I appreciate you very, very much. Jerry Royce over on Positive Power 21. I thank him so much. I want to give him a shout-out as we co-host The Quiet Storm and now Late Night Radio on Friday evenings at 11:30 for 21. And also my show over on Positive Power 21, my TV talk show, is doing wonderfully. My Journey. Jerry and I have been nominated for a Newsom Award, and the Newsom Awards are in their 23rd year, I believe it is. So just really, really blessed and really of that nomination for My Journey. Thank you so much, Dr. Fred Newsom. Also, the LMB Network, Fridays, 11 a.m. This show is rebroadcast on the LMB Network out of New York. So if you miss me here on Wednesday or if you miss the podcast, you can catch the show on Friday mornings, 11 a.m., the LMB Network. And I also invite you, for those of you who have not done so, I invite you to join my mailing list where you'll receive my show newsletter. It comes out a couple times a week, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and I share show information and other inspiring pearls of wisdom along with some interviews from some wonderful people from around the world. And as a thank you, I will send you a copy of my free ebook. It's entitled The Mindset Journey. I always say, what do I say to y'all? You know, the greatest conversation that you will ever have is the one that takes place in between your ears, because it determines your destiny. It determines how you view yourself, how we view others, our perspectives, our behavior. It just drives all of that. So I put together some thoughts, and it's a quick read. It's about 15 pages long, and put together those thoughts to just kind of get you to thinking about your mindset and how it really determines our destiny. There are two ways that you can access it. You can go to my website, www.paulagvoice.com. You can click on the home page. There's a Mindset Journey icon there that you can click on and complete the email address. You will have to probably go into your email to confirm it, so we're sure that you're not a robot or anything. And then you will get a copy of the Mindset Journey within 48 hours. And also reach out on my fan page, Paula G. Let me know what you think of the book, or you can email me, Paula at paulagvoice.com. And also I want to give a shout-out as well to my affiliates of the Paula G Show for their support. You can visit the affiliates page on my website, www.paulagvoice.com. You can click on the various products there. Art Naturals, they've got some great natural products. Those of you who are into natural products, some great natural products. Adagio teas for the tea lovers in the house. They've got wonderful teas from around the world, and also 1-800-FLORAL. Who doesn't appreciate a wonderful bouquet of flowers at any time? So make sure that you check them out over there on my website. And also my good friend, Glenn Trevelyan. I'm telling you, this man, some music, and I really believe that he has an ear for music, because he just sends me some great music from time to time. And out of that music, we've gotten some great guests as well. So I want to thank Glenn Trevelyan also for his support and sending over some great music to the Paula G Show. Thank my brother. Let me see, I believe that is it. Oh, just one more announcement. For those of you who may be interested in expanding your business, expanding your audience, there are advertising opportunities with Paula G Voice right here on Survival Radio Network, the LMB Network, Positive Power 21. You can reach out to me via email, Paula at paulagvoice.com, for more information. All right, well, I think those are all of my announcements. We're getting into graduation season, and we've got a lot of graduates, high school graduates and college graduates, so I know a lot of you are getting prepared for that and getting excited about that. So congratulations to all of the graduates in the class of 2018. Well, those of you who have been listening to this show for the last 2 years know that each May I recognize the military in one format or another. In the last couple of years, I've had guests on that have been career military. They've retired and are now seeking other jobs and other careers, and we've had conversations about their journey in the military and their life now and the of military life. And for those of you who have been listening for a while, I believe it was the first year that I did it, I had my former husband as my guest, and some people were kind of feeling some kind of way about that, but I thought it was important for us to share our journey of military life, and it can be a wonderful life, but it also has its challenges as well. So I really didn't think that I could recognize the military and have a military theme without sharing my own journey as well. So, we shared our journey and got some really wonderful feedback on that as well. Well, this year I decided that I wanted to give voice to a group of military individuals that you may not necessarily hear from on a regular basis, and those are the Gold Star moms. And some may inquire, or some may wonder, what is a Gold Star mother? A Gold Star mother is a woman who is entitled to display a gold star on a service flag, and the way that she acquires that is due to the father of a son or daughter that has died during an active duty service in the United States military during wartime or hostile times within the armed forces. So that's how they earn that gold star, and it is a very close-knit community of women who are there to support each other, to encourage each other, and to assist each other through this journey called life without their children. So this year we are recognizing 4 Gold Star moms who have been given the opportunity to speak to you all a little bit about their journey. And I understand and recognize that it can be a difficult conversation for some. I always say that time is precious and life is precious. And, a lot of times we take certain things and certain freedoms that we have for granted. And I do hope my prayer is by the end of this month that you will hear the stories of these wonderful ladies. You will hear not only their journey, but you'll learn a bit about their sons and their daughters, and it will just heighten our appreciation for that thing that we have called freedom. So on the flip side of our break, we're going to take a music break and listen to a bit of, what are we listening to tonight? I think we'll listen to a little Groovy Smoothie. I think that's what I said, Mike, Groovy Smoothie. And on the flip side of the break, we'll be welcoming our first Gold Star Mom, May. This is the Paula G Show, and we will be back in a few moments. And we're back. This is the Paula G Show, and I thank you all so very much for tuning in this evening. I am so excited to have my guest joining me. She is affectionately known as Mother Hines, and she is here with us to share her story about her precious son and also some amazing and wonderful things that she is doing as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the Paula G Show, Mrs. Edith Hines. Good evening, Mrs. Hines. How are you?
Good evening. God, you beautiful lady. Beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much. I want to say this up front before I forget. Well, I won't forget. I want to say this up front that I'm truly honored to have you join us this evening to share your journey. Thank you in advance so much for taking some time to talk with us and share with us about your son and also some of the amazing things that you are doing as well.
Thank you for having me. I am delighted and honorable to be here, and I am so happy to be able to share with you. I'm so excited.
Yes. Well, tell us about your son.
Well, my son. I'm going to begin with my dreams. I dreamed my son in this tragic moment that he was killed, and it was over 266,295 hours of dreaming. It's a miracle. 19 years approximately dreaming of my son's death. And of course, I'm writing a book about it. You know, it was a miracle even in his birth. And God has designated this young man at this particular time right now to be able to tell the story. And it is a miracle, has been a miracle for 19 years, and I have a diary all these years wondering why I was dreaming, and dreaming up until he died in Korea. And of course, even his birth was a miracle, and I'm going to share that in my book. I don't want to reveal that right now, but
no, ma'am.
It was a miracle, and all during the years, my son was a good boy and beautiful child, and we shared a lot together. And he was in the beach when he died, and left. And during the time that we were waiting to hear from him, his girlfriend was going to buy her wedding dress.
Oh, my goodness.
She heard, some of the neighbors heard, this noise and crying and carried on. And she was getting in the car. And they said to her, "You better go upstairs, Christine, because I think something is happening." And so she came upstairs, and she found out that Tim was killed, and that's tragic for her, And so we just take him one day at a time. And I tell the other Gold Star mothers that, some of them are wounded. I said, but I'm wounded, but I have a scar, that will never erase,
Right.
And they will that scar will remind them of their precious sons.
Yes.
And
Yes.
life is so precious.
It really is. It really is. And your son was a corporal, Corporal Timothy Eccles in the U.S. Army. And what can you share with us some childhood memories? Was he a mischievous little boy? I know you said he was a good boy. Did he get mischievous at times?
Yes, he was mischievous. He would always try and but he was unusually clean. You know, he wouldn't let anybody sit on his bed. You know, he was unusually, even the refrigerator had to be, you know, like everything had to be organized. And you couldn't sit on his bed. And he shared with the Temptations. I lived in Jersey City, of course. And during the time of his life, he was a musician, a bass music. And he was inspired by Temptations. And he loved music. But one particular thing, he knocked on the door, you know, to scare me, and he knocked on the door. I opened the door, and he sneezed, and he had a piece of liver in his nose, and the liver came out, and
my goodness.
I started screaming because he was saying that something happened to him. Somebody had hit him in the head, and damn it, don't do that. And that was really, you know, really frightened.
Yes.
One really funny thing was that I had a friend that made bread pudding. And so she knew that I love bread pudding. So I sent her to the house, to her house, the bread pudding, and I never seen him till the next day. He ate bread pudding and was afraid to come home. He ate
wow.
I said to him, wow. He just sit outside. The bread pudding was so good, you know.
Right.
And he was afraid, you know, that I would scold him. But that was not, you know, wasn't a good incident. But nevertheless, he was a good boy.
Yes, yes.
And
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, how have you kept his memory alive all of these years?
I've kept his memory alive by writing and taking notes of what I dreamed, how I dreamed it, and when I dreamed. And all of this is in a diary. And just like you say, the good memories have been a comfort to me. You know, I have had letters. You know, one particular letter was so heartwarming, and this letter was, I was going to the bank, and a friend, it wasn't a friend, it was a stranger, picked me up on Bowling Air Force Base to take me to the bank. And a letter fell out of my pocket and on the floor. I went in the bank and I come back, and this lady said to me, she said, Miss Hines said, forgive me, but I read a letter. And she said, it was so heartwarming. She said, I have this letter to give my son, and let's see how a young man have treated and feel alike and feel about his mother. I say, she had no business, reading
Right.
my letter. But
yes.
it was God's will that she read the letter. I said, of course you can. If that letter going to help your son, you are welcome to have it.
Wow.
So
You've done some, you've done some, I just think, wonderful things. When we spoke previously, you spoke of a play and your book and your poem that you have. And if it's okay with you, we're going to take a little bit of a break, a little bit of a music break. And when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about your poem and the play.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Sure, darling.
All right. We're going to take a little break, and we are going to listen to a little bit more. Well, you know what? Let's talk a little bit more before we do that. I just thought of something. I want to make sure that we take care of before the break. Tell me a bit about, without giving it away, tell us a bit about your book. Let's talk about that before we go to the break.
My book is about the conflict in Korea. It is a perfect time to be published. And I studied by my son getting killed. I wanted to know where, when, how, and why. So I just started studying about the culture of Korea and how they lived and why war, started. And so I just got curious and got into it so that I just visit there mentally,
Yes.
And the most precious thing, and I don't mind saying this, that you know that South Korea is called the son of the morning. The son of the morning.
The son of the morning.
Yes, the sun that comes up in the morning just fills the whole plantation, Korea, and it's beautiful. And why would anyone ever want to destroy the beauty of God's land?
Yes.
My question. Why?
Yes. Why? The son of the morning. And why would anyone, and it's such a valid question, why would anyone want to destroy the beauty of God's land?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it comes up in Korea in a way that it does not come at all in any other place in the world.
Oh. Wow.
God has his way of living in areas that we least expect. And that's just intriguing,
Yes, absolutely. 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 Well, we'll go ahead and take that break, and when we come back, I want you to share with us your poem, and I believe you also mentioned that you are working on a play as well.
Yes, I am. It's called...
All right.
All right.
Okay. When we come back, we'll hold that thought, and when we come back, we will talk a bit about your play and your poem. Ladies and gentlemen, we are speaking with Mrs. Edith Hines. She is a Gold Star mom, and she's sharing her journey with us right here on the Paula G Show. We're going to take a break, and we're going to be back in a moment. And right now, we're going to listen to a little bit of Walk With Me. We'll be back in a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Paula G Show right here on the LMB Network.
And we are back. This is the Paula G Show, and that was the one and only Jasmine Gent on saxophone with Walk With Me. And we are having a conversation this evening with our Gold Star mom, Mrs. Edith Hines. And Ms. Hines, before the break, you started to tell us about the play that you're working on.
I'm working on a play that I wrote the music, instead.
Mm-hmm.
It's very healing. You can say things in music that you can sing things in music that is so healing from any other words that you could sing. So
that's so true.
I have it's a musical play, and it's all about Korea, and it's done in poetry. One particular thing that we're going to have choreography is 9 o'clock. Now, Paula, here is what happened. He was about, just talking age, maybe about 7 months, 6 months, and then don't know exactly. But anyway, I passed the clock, and I looked up, when it get dark early, and I looked up, it's 9 o'clock. And this child, for the first words that I ever heard, said 9 o'clock. 19 years later, it was 9 o'clock when they buried him. But that was his first words. And this is going to be all in music, and it won't be sad all the time. It will music that will cheer you up, and music will help you to understand the emotion that a woman and a man go through with when they lose a child.
Wow. That is really deep. Mm-hmm.
That is called The Conflict of Korea, the life and death of a dream.
The conflict in Korea.
Life and death.
And death of a dream. And what is your vision as far as where people will be able to see this play, or how people will be able to see it?
Well, I'm seeking for funding now, and I'm trying to recruit actors and singers, So I'm just trusting in God and hoping a door will open that we can first give it here in Washington at Howard Theater,
Yeah.
So that is, I want to put Perry to a shame. But that's just fun,
Yeah.
But I really feel that it's healing, and it's comfort, and it's educational in knowing where Korea is, what they stood for, what kind of people they are, and the religion that they, served, and it's going to be helpful. And I just feel that this is going to be one of the breakthroughs that any black person could contribute to their country.
Wow.
In healing.
Wow.
And I wrote a song, God, We Are the Gold Star Mothers. And it's tapes, that we distributing, on the way. So God is using me, and I'm very happy. I'm 87 years old. I have my own podcast. And
what?
Yes.
Miss Hines, wait a minute. You're 87. Wait a minute, Miss Hines. Hold on. You're 87 years old with your own podcast. I'm about to say with your own own podcast.
I'm the oldest. I think I'm the oldest podcast one.
What?
Yeah.
You're going to have to share with my audience your podcast information so we can all tune in to your podcast.
Well,
you have to share with us. Yes, ma'am.
Well, you can go, I'm on Facebook. You can search for, the Edith Hines. The Edith Hines.
T-H-E, Edith Hines.
Right. There's so many Edith Hines out there. So we decided my producer, which is Mr. Jones. He had his own radio station in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So he helps me out in my production. But we are doing, tomorrow I'll be doing the 12th podcast.
All the beautiful things. Is this you, Miss Hines? All the beautiful things. I see you. I'm looking at your page, I believe. Edith Hines, podcast, Healing is the Children's Bread. Is that you, Miss Hines?
That's the last one I did. Wow, you're bringing it up, huh?
Yes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's a fan. I think it's a fan page. So if you type in the T-H-E, the word Edith, E-D-I-T-H, Hines, H-I-N-E-S, there's a picture of Miss Hines up there looking just as fabulous as ever. And she's got her postings down there, and you can see her podcast. I'm going to have to tune in and take some notes on how to podcast from Miss Hines. Yes, I am. And I see a picture of your son there. Yes, this is wonderful. This is absolutely wonderful. Yes, A Nation's Cry, a history of how the Korean War started. That's you, yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And also I wrote a summit about the cry in the wilderness. It's the whole story about Obama, and how I feel about how God brought him here to us to break through. Yes, the cry in the wilderness. I have that on tapes. I have tapes. And I have a comedy, D.C. Roach, that's for children. But all of these things that have happened to me has my son from ashes to success. God took him from me to give me an inspiration for others. So his life is not in vain. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Wow. Can you share with us your poem?
Yes, I will.
Yes.
It's called I Am a Designated Soldier in the USA. I am a designated soldier in the USA. Please, please listen to all I have to say. We love our country. There is no doubt. But we hate to see the bodies destroyed on the land and in the fields and about. The sight of the T-34 tanks in Korea was a scary thing. Our experience was like the hand of King David with its silent flame. The refuges of North Korea was used as a cover up on the desert. Big groups of them fell. The mountain peak, Nanyos, even then, the shooting of blood. The shooting of blood yield my mother's dreams. Spirits roam in the hills. You can hear the screams, and I was not there in my mother's dream, but I'm coming. The war in your mind was already forming. Mama, you saw it, and you stood on the mountains side by side with death until there were no blood left. No blood left, Mama. You did not understand in your dreams the myriad of picturesque characters performing a dream keen and fine. It was blow your mind, Mama. But Mama, don't let them forget. Mama, don't forget. The dream has been displayed in the dreadful war. Even the civilians considered as enemies you saw. In certain areas, what's the Cold War really a failure? Send me a message, God, from the grave. The sacrifices of sons and daughters, brave. Mama, thousands of refuse are blown up, and they cross the Hands River Bridge. Before it all happened, you saw it. Your dreams started in the 50s. Oh, bloody war. Mama, don't let them forget. Don't let them forget, Mama. That's it. Hello?
Yes, yes. I'm just marinating on that powerful piece. Just marinating on that powerful piece. And, you know, it sounds, it's almost like, it almost sounds like you have conversations with your son in the spirit.
Yes, I do. I do.
That you have conversations, yes.
And Paula, this all happened before it happened. And this is the story I will be telling. And it's so, you know, you can't deny it because of all of those hours. No one was able to interpret the dream. This is a little boy running around, going to school, happy with his friends, you know. And even though in Georgia, where Sherman, the Civil War there, we live right in the midst of where the city was burned, you know. This child Timmy was playing on the railroad track. The same railroad track that Sherman burned and they rebuilt it. He was playing on it on a car, on a railroad car box. And one of the kids fell down and cut their legs off, you know.
Yes.
This child went through a lot of hate and distress in his life, but he was a good son. I want to tell this, I remember, you know, I was a single mother, and it was very hard, you know, in the 60s for a single mother. And my son went out and got a job, and it was Easter Sunday. It was the Sunday, the Easter weekend. He went out and got a job, and because he didn't have much money. And he came back. I was on the floor thinking all the kids needed was some shoes. And I was lying on the floor. Oh, I wished I had shoes. And he opened the door, and he threw $40 right on my breast, because I'm late.
Gosh.
And he said, Mom, go get your shoes. So that $40, I never will forget, bought my kids a happy Easter. So that was the kind of kid he was. And to take his life, is just devastating.
Yes. Yes.
But after triumph.
What else do you want the listeners to know? What else do you want to share with them? Or what do you want to leave them with?
You mean the military world or just everybody?
Let's say both. Let's say military for our military listeners.
I think our military listeners, so many after they lose their sons, stay in depression, and they feel like that they just can't go on. But I think you should take that life that you lost and do something to help somebody else, the veterans, or even if you don't know a veteran, if you don't know about military life, a lot of military people don't even know about Gold Star mothers. There's been times that I met people, and what do you mean by Gold? Only when it came out, when the president was elected and the Gold Star family was on, then a lot of people learned that there were Gold Star mothers, And I think get involved in helping others, It's nothing like, it's not what you receive that you're going to cash in, but it's what you give. If you give something, you have nothing to cash in. You have nothing to. If you don't deposit nothing, don't expect anything.
Yeah.
So your deposit is really what's going to make you happy and help you to be comforted and to be healed. And I just hope someday that we can live in peace around the world in countries. I've been all over to Japan. I've been. I had plays in Philippines and Portugal. In the Philippines, I was the first black woman to write a play in Portugal, and win first place on television, radio. A mother's grandmother, grandmother's birthday. So
wow.
And that was all for military families,
Yeah.
And so I am, I don't get around, but guess what I do? I'm in a wheelchair. I have my granddaughter. She rolls me around to the meetings. I speak. I do poetry. I go to the center of the military older people. And the funny thing I did, I went with a musician, and they thought I was coming in because I was a patient there. So
oh my goodness,
they put up signs, Edith Hines is coming because there's a lot of poetry. And so when I got there, and I'm 86 years old, oh, you back, you back. And you know what I said? Oh, no, I didn't come back. I come to entertain you. So they all had a big I said, I'll come back when I get older.
So you tell him, Miss Hines. You go ahead.
I'm in a wheelchair.
I bet they didn't know what to do with that, did they?
No, they got it. So I danced around in my wheelchair. You know, they
yeah.
You know. So there's a lot you can do to comfort people.
Yes.
And
yes.
It's a way of healing. You know.
Mhm. Yeah.
And forget your enemy. If you got an enemy, what about sending a bouquet of roses?
Oh, that's huge. That's huge, Miss Hines. Sending them a bouquet of roses.
Yes.
That's huge. That takes strength. Mhm.
It worked for me. So it'll work for anybody. And think about, the positive. Always think of the positive and eliminate the negative. And don't mess Mr. In between.
You have dropped some knowledge on us this evening, and I thank you so much for joining us. Please know you are welcome back. Anytime you have something to say, just reach out, say, Paula, I want to get on the show, and we will make it happen. We will make it happen. Thank you so much. Yes, and I want to share with the audience again on Facebook. They can go to the Edith Hines, TheEdith Hines, Hines, and that is her social media page, and it has her information on there, her podcast on there, and I'm sure as she completes the play and we're just going to touch and agree that the doors were open for opportunities, for funding, for this play to take place at the Howard Theater in Washington, D.C. We're going to touch and agree on that and speak it into the atmosphere for you, and also just, all of the wonderful things that you're doing to bless others, to encourage others, and we thank you so much for sharing, and I just pray that the prayers that you lift up, that God will incline his ear and meet you at your point of need. Thank you so much for joining us.
And thank you so much for having me. And I love you all so much.
Thank you. God bless you. God bless you. Woo. Ladies and gentlemen, Gold Star Mother, Mrs. Edith Hines, my hats off to her. When I grow up, I want to be like Mrs. Edith Hines because she got it going on at 87 years of age. I strongly encourage you to go back and listen to this episode, www.thepaulagshow.com. You can listen, tune in radio, Stitcher.com. Just an amazing and inspiring conversation. And I want to thank each and every one of you so much for joining us this evening. And remember, you know what I always say, the greatest conversation you will ever have is the one that takes place in between your ears. And I hope that this conversation this evening will transpire, motivate that conversation in between your ears as well, because we all know that conversation affects our destiny and our daily lives. What are you speaking to yourself? What is your I am? I leave you this evening. Mike, let's listen to a little bit more of Walk With Me by Jasmine Gent. Until next time.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Paula G, and you are listening to Late Night with Jerry Royce live at Positive Power 21. Can you feel the power?